It's day 753 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor a coming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Siman Tov Samech Vav Aleph. This is Siman Tov Samech Vav Tes. Tov Samech Vav. Eize Dava Machmitz Levad Mayim. What else can create chametz besides water? Maybe the chimutz, just like water can make chametz, kain tal, barat, so to do, and hail, ukfor, and frost, the karach and ice, when they melt for yilamayim, come water, kamo kain, told those mayim kamayim. They derive derivatives of water, they're water. Second, the Shindan told us, well, actually, kamo kain, those mayim kamayim, just like these are, you can also explain what the Rosh is saying, it's not to mix temperature difference. He said those are water, and the following told us are also like water. Says Mashiach Nan told us that my water derivatives of water, Yotzim Ayin, tears, Mina Ozen, earwax, Mina Chotem, nose mucus, Mina Pet, saliva, Erglaim, urine, Bang Don, Bang Katanim. I assume means whether the urine comes out when you're urinating or defecating. He says no. Sometimes also that comes out from the anus, something like water. The Sefta says that only human urine is derivative of water. Mishnah Berurah says that by animals and other types of creatures, there is different opinions between the poskim if they ferment. And the Sharatzion says if you see that they split the wheat, so then you have to assume that fermentation took place. So those other secretions are also only human secretions. Or Mishnah Berurah argues. He says those other secretions also can be animal secretions. We see that the urine of an animal is like water. It goes to enokamayim, but it's not really considered water. Certainly these other secretions as well. But the Shabbos eats him 9 of the most high shu mashke. How do we know that tears are considered to be a beverage? The most shlish. You gave them to drink with a copious amount of tears. We know that the mucus from the nose is considered to be a beverage. Our afafenu usually means it was with an ayin. Usually it means the eyelids. But here, I guess, where Darshan is ever said it with an aleph. Our nose is flowed with water, runny noses. So I see this by an animal, by a human being, not by animals. You say Kamash Lokosu Kane. I said there's an argument. I've never heard Mishnah Berurah. Although he didn't see it, I believe that there's a dichotomy. The excrement of a human being and of all other creatures, and the perspiration of a human being, the cholav and milk, the shuman and fat, the chelev. I guess shuman would mean actually in this case like a cream. Also, the chelev and which is fat, mea mara and bile. May payos organs will be like fruit juice. They don't cause chametz. The Berurah says now it says a distinction that milk and fat and the cream and blood, they're all considered to be made payos according to everybody, and therefore you put in water, they cause the chametz to occur more quickly. But the perspiration of a human being and the excrement of any creature, many achorim, they don't cause chametz at all. And some machmir also on this. Okay, I don't know how often these things come up. Be that as it may, Arukh HaShulchan also says all these things they may pair with mine biyachad with the water marin lach meats. They cause things to get chametz very quickly. If you offer miyan and bake them immediately. They fell on flour and these nagvu and they wiped off. And a klum, it doesn't matter. It's not considered to be then like fruit juice with water. But down gamkin have a kamei peros. Blood is also like fruit juice. Avarok ekdam, but it's somebody who spits blood. And what's it so b'shinab if he sucked it out of his teeth? Like people who spit, having a kamei peros imaim. It's like it's mixed together fruit juice with water. It's not possible to spit something out without some specks of saliva. As it says when you spit out blood when you do chalitza, that there is also saliva involved. The bracket says here, it's not clear. If we can derive the parameters here from the parameters of what is machshir, an object to be makabel tuma, reisham chalav machshir, because there chalav is machshir kabel tuma. But gamadam yeshlu ayin sham, also some blood does. But kind of an appearance here we consider to be a fruit juice. V'chein dvash v'shemen. So too, honey and oil are machshir to be makabel tuma. Kind of appearance. It's fruit juice. The curry. Luatana b'shem told us ma'im ayin sham. The Tana calls them derivatives of water. See there, v'duk. Try to understand it better. Beis came a shork machmit since saliva causes chametz. Chen shonakam mishnah. Chamim said lo yilasu the machitim person should not chew wheat v'yaniach makoso and put it on a wound. Evidently because that's somehow therapeutic. Minei shein machmitos. Because they become chametz. Avolos and boa, but to chew them and swallow them, yeshu shomish with those who say it's mina, fish ema chmitz mina, because they become chametz immediately. To me, it seems as the Arukh HaShulchan the also. She'ev shesh leisha masher b'meina shamayim. It can't be this. Nothing's going to be left in between the teeth. I mean, so perks on the chulin. But also mashu yid chametz, and that little bit will become chametz in your mouth, which is worse. But maka fil ha'isem nachas ha'aratia b'korban pesach. If it's a wound, even if the bandage there from before Pesach, so the Sauka Mer Pesach to remove that bandage with the potentially fermented grain on her Pesach, B'shal Shishis at the 6th hour, Imiloni Sircha, unless it became totally disgusting. So long, in other words, if it's still suitable for an animal to eat, you got to eradicate it. Pashu is obviously the cause of Cholishem, but Sakon obviously is where we're talking about an illness which does not entail a danger. Somebody has an illness which entails danger. Even to eat chametz is permitted. There's nothing which stands in the way of pikuach nefesh. Kimo v'day, you should know the zedit not trust those chitim now, which it says is forbidden to chew wheat. Put on your wound. That's with our wheat. When if it comes chametz, you're violate by ra. But if it's chametz of a non-Jew, you're allowed to put on your wound. It's interesting. Even though you have anoah from the chametz to derive benefit that it could therapeutic. This is not considered to be the normal derech of anoah, and that's permitted. As a right, when is it true you don't heal yourself with prohibited substances? When the benefit is considered to be a normal manner of benefit. Such when they give you to eat insects and creepy crawly things, or chametz and pesach, or chametz and pesach, but it's not the normal derech v'anakon shasino with tia, or milling chametz use the chametz to make a bandage or some sort of other salve. Mutzah chol that's permitted for a sick person. Of course, it's about a chol who doesn't have a danger. There's a sakon if it's in danger and mutter, it's permitted. The chova and obligatory. La'achilo chametz therefore to give chametz to heal it. That's to give chametz to young children if it's necessary because of a danger. Both right. That's no sense in the bamto. Somebody gives barley to his animal to eat, and he finds that there is some moisture, strands of moisture. He has to eradicate them. The rear they hold that saliva which comes from an animal causes chametz. So if you found those strands of moisture, but if you don't find it, take into account that it might be there. But because when you put the barley in front of the animal, you are negated them, and you are mafkir them from your intent. It's no longer like your chametz. The head you obviously it's outright, and that can't rely on that kind of beto hefker. Says here Zelkan was a Rabbank, which was a Yaakov, so in brackets. Okay, and become yesh machmir. Those who are machmir, levar kol noisim nema, to eradicate anything which is left after the animal finishes eating. We don't see any moisture on it. Some people give the animal to eat slowly, in order that nothing should be left over. Mishabura says the Rechaim said that all this is by horse. It's in similar animals, but by an ox or a cow, essentially machmir because they certainly produce this moisture when they eat. It's appropriate to be machmir all animals to eradicate whatever's left, even though you don't see any saliva on it. Shmuel says that l'chatchila you also should feed them little by little. So he's certainly machmir on these things. Hey, zeas batim boros sichinim oros. If you have a kind of perspiration and moisture which is on the sides of houses, of pits, of cisterns, of caves, time machshin, then a machshir means a gemayim. Themselves, Mashim says it's a machshir kabel tuma. Doesn't make sense to do kabel tuma. It ain't a gemayim. It's not like water. If he's a sack like a chemok, so if that's the case, if you have a sack full of flour, which became moist, mizeas bais from the moisture in the house, or chum or a wall, and a mechametz, it doesn't become chametz as a result. So that's a rush. That's rush b'nechem kosabagos maminos perakei. Avarokech oser, but the rokech says also because it's It's not like the parameters of being machshir kabel tuma. Second much time, so sifav as Arukh HaShulchan mentioned above. Rosh Madam is there's adam shein machmitz. The rush compares it to the perspiration of a person, which doesn't cause chametz, but that doesn't seem to be precise either. Along brackets here. I am going to see because of tzarchim. The other a rovo stream. I am most poskim answer this perspiration, this moisture on the walls. Lo yadati mi hema. I don't know who these people are. But Mishnah B'Sayim Matir, and the Mishnah seems to be like the people who are lenient. Yafa said, he says because the Tazim Machmirin Matim Leikar, and it seemed the Beis Yosef was correct in writing that the opinion those in lenient is primary. Gamach Kasav Shachoma Meziam Mikoach Hamayim Ayin Sham. That which Avram says that the wall perspires water. Chasha is difficult. He can't lamena machshir. So why is that machshir kabel tuma? We could say that in the perspiration comes of houses, the kshe lach when it's a moist time of year, mazin yosef they perspire more. So then it's definitely from the rainwater. Which is the time at the end of the rainy season, and the snow is melting. Does have here lach, the air is moist. Yocholios the bade machmitz. Could be then we have to say it's definitely machmitz. For Russia is fired, but Russia's in Spain. The sham ozmanakayitz. It's already summer. Hekel Bazay was more lenient. I mean, it's funny, Shalom and Yira, the Vade Aser Beduk. But in our northern country, since it's definitely Aser, it definitely is water, and that seems to be the case. And the bracket says here, there's another bracket, says Basar Havek Mayim. I guess the moisture comes from meat, butcher shop or something, it's like water. Mishnah Berurah says, the Dina, this perspiration from the walls is like made peros. You should be aser. And nevertheless, you can leave whatever came in contact with this till after Pesach. If you want to use this flour for Pesach, you can permit it by sifting it, and even if it dried up, the dirty flour you could toss, and the be in contact with the wall or such like, and the rest you can use. Sharatzian says, nevertheless, it's best if you can bake it before Pesach. And also, you should do it with great shmira, and because that's the appropriate thing to do. The Berurah says that some people say that it is usher because the the wall does perspire from the water which is in it, even though the Arukh HaShulchan says that that's only during the rainy season. Vav, kamach shenafal olav the del of kol yom. I found which was dripping water the entire day. So Ritzufin tipa achar tipa comes down immediately in a flow, drop after drop, in a machmitz. Doesn't make chametz. The dripping in of itself does not permit them to become chametz. But there are interruptions between each drop machmitz. It does become chametz. Therefore, there's a doubt, even a little doubt. If it's coming down in an unbroken chain or not, us is forbidden. Even if it comes down unbroken, you have to bake it immediately. You leave it over even a little bit after the dripping stops, so it becomes chametz very quickly. Mr. Berurah says that's the chatchila, but you only ask her, of course, after 18 minutes. If it's not going down constantly, it's drip, drip, drip. Also called camel oil flowers also are filu, even though which you don't see soaked with water. Because the flour absorbs and it's not necessarily recognizable. It made a lo shemana lo rose din zeh. Shulchan was never asked to pass on halacha l'maisa in practice. Ki miyuchal lo'id she hayot tif. Who can say that it was constant? Zayin minei din zeh shekusamu b'gmora bebraiso. It's Gemara. The braiso kemach shnaval tochel delef kol yom kulo. If you have flour into which a drip went the entire day, and a machmitz doesn't make a chametz udavi tif tif, as long as the drops are adjacent to each other. Ram per chestin yud kosav the dogon shenofel of delef. If you have grain upon which there fell a drip, calls man to tore tipa achar tipa. Anytime it comes down drip after drip after drip, I feel cool even the entire day. Ain't nobody they chimutz does not ferment avogim pase, but once it ceases, in shak shear, if it tarries the amount of time, presumably 80 minutes, it's forbidden. I can't show. Utmiyani was down and says, "My mahani b'dogan tif achatif." By flour, I can understand, but what by grain? What does it do? That it's drip after drip. Actually, but by the time you grind it, you shenu, and you need it, yitchametz, come chametz. I saw that the Baal Tanya says you have to grind immediately. But Tema is astonishing too. It's granted when you grind this chametz, they're asek. Because your involvement with it. Nonetheless, after the grinding, by the time you need it, it's going to become chametz. If you know my lush, I even tell you to do lisha immediately. Immediately after a grinding, also the lush, you can't immediately knead. Got the rest of it. Therefore, it's clear to me that I'm also going on the flour, not on grain. Use the terms interchangeably. Like it says previously, so these five types of grain, if you kneaded them with fruit juice, certainly you have to be careful with the grain on Pesach. And obviously means the flour from the grain. Shabura seems to be not so. What's going on this? Yeah, the Shabura says he differs with Arukh HaShulchan. He takes that dripping on the grain literally. And he says that when it stops, you grind immediately. Okay. If water fell on flour or the sack became moist, your akeda kemach sifted the flour. Hashem rest is mutter. This is really different with him. It's Al-Shana. He said this is why Rosh writes. It's too great a kula. So it came b'tocha Pesach. Do this on Pesach. Even the smallest amount. Because maybe with the flours, the minute amount of chametz will pass through. I saw those who pass in halacha l'maisa. They shall hold in your hand all the moist area of the sack. Actually, called kemach of the sack until you move all the flour in the sack. Oh, that's the end quote. The Torah brings this rush down. Before it becomes clarified here, only on Pesach is a problem. Before Pesach, sifting is okay. Because we know before Pesach. Maybe it's going to wake up again on Pesach. We don't say it gets waked up again, woken up on Pesach, come us again. They also distinguish, not distinguish between lach liyavish, which is most moist and dry. He says on Pesach, so if it got dry, only on Pesach. According to Pesach, with the ganke, didn't close when but if it got was before Pesach, it doesn't wake up on become usher on Pesach as well. Test. He wrote Sheish Chokim. Some argue and Sham. Because of the loch of the Enokot of Veneer doesn't wake up, whether it's moist or dry. The Ramah shows distinction between them. He says it's not agreed. Shambo so Biana the Ken Ikar La Locha. It's not Choyz Menir. Rabbeinu Hamal Kamkin Rak Mini Aminak Kosokin. Aminak was Rimachmir. Aval Dina Biana Sham Dika Dana Choyz Menir. The primary halacha is that it's not Choyz Menir, it doesn't wake up again. Not finished with this. More tomorrow.